What is going on, guys? Today we have the magnificent Ryan here. So today, obviously, you see me dressed up.
Stop looking at yourself.
I like to know.
If I could interject for a moment, I can hear some feedback somewhere here. Somebody's got a volume turned up. But if I can interject here, I have...
You knew it was him. Like
I got nothing.
I have the Green Arrow, and I have Deathstroke in my midst. I digress. Continue.
I digest. So, get it? No, okay. Anyway, today we're talking about cosplaying, which is dressing up. We're also going to be talking about anime because that's kind of what got cosplaying into it, right? So, have you ever done cosplay, Brian? Other than
right now,
other than Halloween and right now, cosplay.
Like dressed up as something to
No. I know what it is. I'm just trying to think of like outside of those scenarios. Probably not.
Oh, really?
Honestly, yeah. And I'm not ashamed of it at all. But I probably have not.
No, you shouldn't be ashamed. Nobody should be ashamed that they don't do this. I actually quite enjoy it. It's actually been a lot bigger. And you actually have Instagram models. That's literally all they do is cosplay stuff. And it's actually kind of nice.
We're talking about me having done it. Now me having viewed it, different topic.
Yeah.
Ooh, fair enough. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's why I am very familiar with the concept of cosplay. I just have not
partaken. I just got this mask like a couple months ago for Christmas. And so I think it looks pretty great, other than I need gloves because you can see my white hands and I don't like that. But yeah, it's pretty nice.
I do like it. Okay, that's better. When you're looking at me straight on, it's better. But when you're turned sideways...
It's really hard because I'm up against the wall, and the only eye I can see out of is my left one. So I just keep, seeing the mic. So I have to keep, doing this to, see anything.
And that's fine. But when you turn that way and look that way, you actually kind of look like the bad side of Rocky Balboa. Like the droopy lip on that side.
I die. Yeah,
that's okay.
Maybe I'll fight the Green Arrow. Maybe I won't. Anyway. So my biggest thing is, so I have a daughter, and I'm going to have her dress up as one of the Teen Titans, probably Terra, for the next anime.
I get that. So does that concern you? Right on the heels of what I was just mentioning about my understanding of cosplay, does that concern you?
No, because it depends on how. Obviously, my daughter is 4, so we're not going to slutty her up. But personally, but so no, it doesn't really worry me because I'm not going to.
Don't get me. I'm not suggesting that you're going to do that the very time that you begin introducing her to cosplay. But what if she gets so comfortable that it kind of turns into her thing?
You know what? Obviously, I wouldn't really bother me if she's doing cosplay obviously I don't want her to be wearing some of the really skimpy stuff because I'm a dad still, right?
Sure, okay.
But if she did one with a low-cut shirt, it wouldn't really bother the hell out of me. Who am I kidding? It's my daughter. I want her to be dressed as the astronaut from My Hero Academia.
If we're doing cosplay like true cosplay, a lot of those characters are dressed a little bit.
Yeah, they actually call that
flirtatiously.
Yeah, but not all of them. So if you've ever been to they can't call it Comic-Con anymore in Salt Lake. They call it what do they call it now? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They can't call it Comic-Con because of whatever. But in Salt Lake, if you've ever gone, I highly recommend that you do. They don't. Yes, there are the scantily dressed ones, but then there's a lot of other people that just put a lot of time and effort in. They look badass.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing. So
men and
forgive
women.
me. I'm talking
there's a lot of Thors running around too.
You mentioned anime, and then we talked about cosplay. So in my mind, I'm thinking anime cosplay because there's not many of those that are on the wholesome. Let's go to church.
So
side.
Terra kind of is. It shows a little bit of her belly. She's from Teen Titans.
Yeah, she's kind of cool. She's kind of mysterious, kind of bitchy, but pretty cool.
But you know what I mean? You at least see my reasoning
I get your reasoning.
Okay.
Let's do this real quick because you're over there clutching that thing like you're going to tear it off and punch somebody. We're going to take 60 seconds or less, take a quick break so he could peel that off and we can see Jay behind the mask.
Don't you do it till we're
cutting.
right, so that was as much as I was able to take it, a whole 2 minutes. So no, cosplay is great.
To be honest, the studio is we run warm down here.
Yeah,
it
it's
feels
pretty warm.
good. Yeah. You give me another one of those, please, por favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you get for sitting there.
That he put you there.
Thank you.
So anyway, what were we talking? Oh yeah, cosplay. So yeah, no, some people actually put a lot of work into. Tara isn't too bad, and I think that again, obviously, it'd bother me as a dad if she starts doing the like fan service. It's what they usually anime calls like when they do kind of sexual stuff.
Right.
And, like,
Explain that to
skimpy.
the people that might be watching that don't
Yeah,
understand.
so I don't have an OnlyFans.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, what?
I'm assuming that people outside of the three of us don't know what that is. So go ahead.
And just for let's explain everything. Anime is Japanese drawn like a cartoon to make it honestly
You mean
easier.
not real life?
Well, actually
It's like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a
Start
cartoon.
at the basic. It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. And then you have from there you have like obviously they have all these girls in skimpy clothing. So when they, almost show their boobs or they get all like it's called fan service. A lot of them
With the twinkle eye thing? Yeah.
there's an anime called Food Wars, and it's about cooking. They like try to make an anime where he's like, oh, I can cut rice. He's like cutting all this crazy crap. Like in the first 5 minutes, he puts like peanut butter on squid, and every time someone eats it, they do this like orgasm, like, and they show the tentacles go underneath this girl's skirt, and I was like, turn this off right now.
Can you forward that
It's
to me?
yeah,
Okay, I know this is kind of off topic, but have you ever built a puzzle, like a 1,000-piece puzzle?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want every time you put a puzzle piece in for it to go?
A 1,000-piece puzzle, it might get a little bit annoying.
Yeah, but left 500.
Okay.
yeah, I know I would do it.
I
Like
get the point. Yeah.
I'd put 5 pieces together a day, and then I'd be like, all right, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Why?
Huh?
To
No.
pee.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like too much. You know what I mean? My nose would bleed. Anime reference. Anyway. Anywho. So in every anime, every time they get aroused, for some reason their nose bleeds.
Yeah,
which
why
is
is
usually
that?
I have no idea because
Well,
usually that's
we're
not
here
the
to
thing
discuss-
leaking from my body.
Well, but we're here to discuss
There
anime.
it is.
We're here to discuss anime.
So I really don't know where that comes from, other
Okay.
than your blood rushes to your head, right? I think that's what
Okay.
they're saying is like
Just
blood
like
rushes to your head.
overpressure up
Yeah,
top.
exactly.
And, yeah.
Okay, that's stupid.
There's overpressure happening, but probably not up top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Different head. So anyway,
Okay.
don't watch this, kids. Anywho, so anime. I love anime. I watch a lot of it. Have you watched any anime?
Yes.
I love it. My favorite is his
Dennis the Menace.
No, shut up.
Dennis
His
the Menace.
name escapes me, but when he's running and then he like jumps, I'm sure they all do it, but they're like jumping in with the kick, and so they're not actually like when you watch our cartoons here in America and somebody is jump kicking or jumping towards someone, like the background moves and it looks like they're actually
They just
jumping.
put the lines behind
Yeah,
them.
but then their mouth's like, and then they are
Yeah.
kicking him. I think it's really cool. I actually really like
Yeah,
that.
I actually. So there's a lot. I couldn't even choose my favorite. But
You have to because it's a podcast and a live cast, so you have to tell us. What's
So honestly, it depends on kind of what you're like.
paint yourself in a corner, buddy.
I
Tell us.
know.
While you're thinking, I'll just jump in and happily represent the other 99% of the world's population and say that I don't really know much about it, and I couldn't tell you the name of an anime anything. And I
Really?
Yeah,
Like
I
zero
honestly
animes.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
one.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a really
Yeah.
popular one.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's probably the most, isn't it? I
Yeah.
would say, at least in America. Anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, seen 0 episodes of it. I just know that it existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And
That's
it's not, for the record, it's not because I hate on anime or anything. It's just never really called to me like He-Man.
Yeah, and that's I have a buddy that's
He-Man's the shit.
You dated yourself.
yeah. My buddy is the same way where he tries to get into anime because I'm really into anime, and he's like, dude, I can't do it. Some of my favorites, I'll just say some of my favorites because it is hard to choose just one. One Punch Man. The whole premise of that is this guy ends up getting so strong he can beat everybody with a punch, so he gets kind of bored. But that's an amazing one. God, it's great. That's like the only one I read the manga on, which manga is the book version of the anime. So all the animes, or at least a good majority of them, are actually books, and they make them into the animated cartoons.
Oh, so they did that with Star Wars. Same thing.
No. That's actually different. Star Wars was actually written into a book afterwards. It was actually not written before.
I know.
Just so all you nerds know.
I'm trying to harass you, but yes, I'm very aware of this.
That right there. That's exactly. So I watch all my Japanese I watch all my anime in Japanese most of the time. There's a couple of them that I watch in
First
English.
of all, when we make eye contact over here, that's what caught me to break. I'm back at it. Okay, go.
So some people will watch animes in English. I am one of those people who are like, I'm a man of class. So I watch it in Japanese. The only problem is I don't know the words, so when I get angry, I
just do like an Asian grunt.
You don't really.
Or I use the words. I'll be like, Bunkai, which is from Bleach.
So here's the thing: you don't really, honestly, need to know the words, because they're so expressive.
Yeah.
And what I
Yeah,
have
that is.
seen, and I'm admitting that I have seen some. There's always like the furrowed brow with the beads of sweat, and then the background pulsating behind them, and you know that some shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
Someone's pissed.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to know the words.
What, and I love, so when if they were to say overplay wouldn't be in there if it wasn't in their dictionary. They'd be like, overplay podcast, and you're like, God, that just sounds better. We should all talk in Japanese.
There.
Like, I hope if there is a world war, I hope it's Japan, and I hope they take over.
I was gonna say, I think that already happened once.
Yeah.
No, they teamed up. I just hope they're the ones that start it next time. So I went to Japan for a couple weeks.
Okay.
And it's just the best place on the planet. But so I went to a manga shop, right, which it has all the books, and I'm like, maybe I'll be able to get into it, and I'll kind of like watch some of the anime. So I go, and on the first floor, something that's actually very popular there is man-on-man manga. So it's just pretty much man porn in a book. That's like extremely hot. But so you go on to the first floor, and you're like sitting there thinking you're going to be nerding out, and there's going to be someone dressed as Naruto, and you go, and it's nothing but girls on the first floor, which at first you're like, yeah, girls are into this. This is good for me. And then you look at, you're like, what? What?
Do they all have dicks?
Huh? The men in the
the girls on the first floor.
No.
Okay,
They just that's something they're kind of into. So then I go up, and I'm like, oh, there'll be ladies up here too, and no, there's not. It was just me and like a couple of other big guys, and but it was a lot of fun, and but yeah, so that was my manga story. That's all really much. I bought a couple of copies. I can't read them because they're in Japanese, and I don't know kanji. But
What?
yeah, no, it's kind of weird. I'm like, that one looks like a cow. That's all I've got. So they're great. Anywho, some of my favorites: One Punch Man, Overlord is a great one. Rising of the Shield Heroes. Actually, if you want to watch one in English, Rising of the Shield Heroes. And this is for some of you guys, D&D guys too. It's in English. It's so what happens? The whole premise of this movie, and there's actually a whole genre of anime called isekai, which means somebody from our world going into an anime world. So they show them. They're like, I'm
Roger Rabbit.
I'm a normal 30-year-old businessman, and then he gets stabbed, and then he gets reincarnated as like this anime awesome badass
So
character.
he at least gets reanimated as an awesome dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole time I'm sitting there going like, man, I just wish that would happen. The only problem is, and then my mind wanders, and I'm like, that's all I think about day in and day out, and that kind of ruins my life. Anyway, so there's great ones. Rising the Shield Hero. He's this kid. He's I think he's like 21 or something like that, and he gets sent over as the hero. There's 4 different heroes: one's shield, spear, bow, and then shield. And so that's all he has is a shield, sword, shield, bow, spear.
Did spear
Okay, you
only
said
have a
shield
spear?
twice.
Huh?
Spear only have a spear?
Yeah.
Sword only have a sword?
Sword. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys get that?
I follow.
Fuck this. Never mind. Just turn it off.
Look, I'm genuinely disinterested. So please continue.
Anyway, it's amazing. He has to go through a lot of obviously troubles because they like threaten him with that he like committed rape and he didn't, and then it ends up being great. So there's a lot of great animes.
Can he at any time pick up a sword?
No, he has to use a shield the whole time.
Okay, but what? Okay, but why?
But why? Well, that's the problem. Is everybody hates the shield hero because one, he usually is there's like demi-humans, right? People who usually have like the fox ears on their head and stuff like that. Those he's like usually accepting of those where the other heroes aren't. It's actually really good. It's actually like a good like overall just like feel good story.
I understand the premise of like the fire, ice, water scenario. The water dude can't just all of a sudden start throwing out fire, right?
Yeah.
It's not his power. It's picking up a shield or a sword
So,
or another thing
this is actually
with their other hand. Why
yeah.
can't they do that?
It's kind of like in Dungeons and Dragons, right? In Dungeons and Dragons, your character isn't well versed in this. His has like a handicap because it's almost like a video game, so he's not able to pick up a sword and use it.
Okay, I'm following Dungeons and Dragons.
Can we take a turn real quick? Talk about Dungeons and Dragons for a minute because, right, guy, you participated in
a week ago.
In
2 weeks ago, but
2
yes,
weeks ago. Yeah,
No, 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
So talk to us a little bit about
Your first experience.
I know we're talking anime, and I know we're talking
dude. If
cosplay.
anime and D&D do not go hand in hand, my world is
I agree.
wrong.
I agree.
Yeah.
So what was your experience with that?
So here's the thing. So Jeremy and I have been talking D&D stuff for years now.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned to you for years that I've wanted to try it. I went and observed you and your friends play around of it, and it looked like you guys were having fun, but I was sitting in the background.
Yeah.
I wasn't following. So anyway, for the longest time, I've wanted to do it. A couple weeks ago, we sat down for the children to do it because I could feel good about myself saying it's for the kids.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do it though. So we sat down, we played. I had an absolute blast. I am not kidding.
So great
to the point where, and I'm not trying to stroke your ego or anything like that. To the point where I would seek
Keep
out
going.
games. But the thing is, I need to play with people I know. I had a blast. I thought it was awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, it was kind of just quickly put together.
Yeah.
Like on your part.
No.
No. So I have already you saw the map, right? So it wasn't like quickly put together.
But I mean the fact that you're starting with a bunch of new characters and all this other stuff. Yeah, obviously you put a lot of time into the storyline.
Yeah.
But the fact that you got a bunch of kids who've never played, a bunch of adults that have never played, so it was kind of just a guessing game for you as to how it was going to be received.
Yeah, and I do think that you would be somebody that would like it anyway because it's kind of that, like, again, it's
What
like,
are you saying?
No, it's kind of like improv stuff like that
Yeah, yeah.
I think is a lot of fun. And the kids made it a lot of fun too because they were so into it, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, they were eating it up.
They get absorbed into their character. And if you're listening now or later, tomorrow or whenever, we're going to do a follow-up to that.
Yeah.
We're going to do part 2.
And I can't wait.
It's
And it
for
only
you to
gets
say
better
that.
too.
And so we're going to do part 2 to that, and that'll be tomorrow. We're going to stream it live. If all goes according to plan, we're going to set up a little differently because Jay put a lot of effort into the map that he made, and so we're going to have cameras dedicated to just that map because it's really cool, and that's where we left off, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what.
No, go ahead.
What intimidates me a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons, and that's why a couple weeks ago was so perfect. Why I look forward to tomorrow. We're talking little children. The oldest kid there, she's 13.
Yeah.
So I'm there as a grown ass man, and I'm playing. And when it gets to like this decision making, they like, for example, one of the kids wants to just go and stab everybody. That's what he wants to do without any thought. So being the old guy there, I can kind of be the voice of reason. And I was doing that. We'd put something up to vote. We'd make a decision and go. But I could be in charge of that. Now, if I was sitting there at a group of tables with seasoned D&D players, I would be intimidated at that.
It's not as bad. I will admit that children are better just in general because they're not as again, they could have somebody that is the leader and is like, hey, and usually the most charismatic person is that way anyway. Like every time I play, if I'm the most charismatic person, I immediately jump into the leader role of like, hey, let's not do that, right? You get a lot of people get into that like stab happy, let's go. Run in and kill everybody, and stuff
I
like
was
that.
thinking of future games like that,
Yeah.
and I didn't think that I would do that. I thought that I wanted to give it a shot and be like, yeah, I could see how that's kind of fun and be done with it. After we got going, after I kind of started to understand things, I was now thinking of future games weeks down the road and thinking to
Yeah.
myself, I want to stay alive because I want to participate in what's coming up. So
Yeah.
I that kind of took over for me.
Yeah, and I do think you did a great job, especially of Riley, because that was one thing I was worried about, I'm going to be honest, was that kids can kind of be all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So they could just be like, "Mah," and do all this stuff where they were actually really good players.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a lot of fun. I really did actually
I
quite enjoy it.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I did tell you today over text message I want to do like adult. I would like to try an adult world
Yeah.
of this, but I do have a question for you when it comes to adult world D&D.
Uh-huh.
Like your level adult world D&D. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to say it, but your level, right?
Yeah.
Does there get a point with D&D that you're playing with people who play it so much that they almost don't enjoy it, or they go into one nervous that for whatever reason that's almost not a game to them? It's so they're afraid of losing something,
No.
Like, what do you mean losing something?
like
I
their
guess? What do
character
you mean?
dying.
No.
like-
So that also depends on your DM. We kind of talked about this in one of our previous videos. Check it out on how to be a DM. If you have
That's true.
If you have a DM that constantly tries to kill your character, I can see. So the first campaign I played with my last group, the DM constantly went after my character for some reason. He was a lot of DMs, dungeon masters, kind of see it as me versus them. And that's not how I like to see it. I like to see it as like a story. So I want your character. I want it to be like a movie. If we were to do a whole campaign, let's say it was a year long.
Oh yeah.
I want it. I
I'm in.
Okay, you heard it here. He has it on video now. Like he has to.
I told you.
Yeah.
I'm in, yeah.
It's the great thing about it is you can. Yeah, I want it to be like a video. I want you to have your badass moments. I want you to have your failures that eventually you reclaim, and all this stuff that I want to be a part of that. So if you, so you're not. I only kill characters if you do something that was stupid enough to get you killed, right? Like. Like if you're one of those people that just run in and stab things without a plan, without
Eventually
anything,
it's going to backfire.
Eventually that's going to backfire.
So, but as DM, and you kind of set the story up in your mind, do you know if you're confronted with this scenario and you only roll a 6 or a 3 or something like that, do you know, A, that they're going to die, and B, do you stick to that as a DM?
If they're going to die, yes. Because again, I usually make it so that it is a challenge, but it's not something that's going to kill them, right? And there's ways to get characters revived, and usually I have sessions made for those that they can come back, right? And those are one of the ones where they don't play as much, but again, you make it like a movie, so their character coming back is like this big deal.
Yeah.
And so even though they're not playing a whole lot and they're watching you guys play, a lot of the time that those sessions are some of my best, because that character is so excited when they come back. They're like, this like different person.
Not proud of this, but I enjoyed it so much to the point where, like, over the last couple of weeks, I've kind of pictured in my mind me, Addie, Jackson, Drew rolling up on doors and just wrecking people. Like, I pictured us, not our characters.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are the guys I was playing with, and we were wrecking fools, man. We were killing it. Loved it.
It is funny when you get characters that have fun playing together and aren't constantly either trying to argue or they're just enjoying the game, which that was my favorite part about DMing for you guys, was it was just you enjoying the game. And so I start to enjoy it because I'm like, I know what's coming up, right? I know the whole story. So I'm sitting there going like, oh, and then you go into the next room and they, them killing goblins. They're immediately like, and then I slice them up and then I punch, and you're like, it's so much fun, and you know that it's only going to get better. So you're like excited for you guys to see these awesome things.
I went into it kind of expecting to trash on you a little bit, like I was in my, I wanted to like it. It sounded cool, but the reality of it is I'm not a game guy, and I didn't think I could get into it. So when you come and you like unroll your map on the inside, I'm like, dork!
Yeah.
I'm gonna wreck him, and then we start playing. I'm like, dork! And then by the end, I'm doing that. I'm like, wait, guys, hold on. No, this is a room full of goblins. Let's be real about this. There's children. We don't want to kill the children.
Yeah.
Let's just let them go. Oh, kill the children! No, guys, come on, dude. I was into it, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It really is something that is, again, it's a lot of fun once you get into it. Because I think that everybody wants to have those movie moments because we see them in movies and nobody gets those, right? And so this is kind of the thing. And also you get to role play this different character, and you get to be a part of something and act a little bit. And it's not something that you get to do, you ever really get to do. Most people never get to act on that type
right.
of stuff.
Who doesn't live in, like, who doesn't have their own fantasies?
Right.
Exactly.
Right? Like you as a kid growing up, you have these fantasy worlds. Even as adults, you think about these fantasies and these different things and ideas, and you just have to keep them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like playing some D&D, like, you could express that a little bit. Like, you could be the asshole, you could be the slut, you could be the mistress, you could be the
meathead,
the hero, you could, like, all of that,
and
right?
that starts
Yeah,
to develop.
exactly.
I loved it when, and it says a lot when people start developing their character. They'll tell you their name, they'll tell you their strengths, the whole 9 yards, and you can see a little bit about that person. You know, like one wanted to be kind of the wizard. She didn't care if she was tough. Right? I wanted to be tough, but I didn't want to be stupid, just a brute. I wanted to, you know, and you kind of see how your real life plays out into your character a little bit.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. You either get, so I play a lot of my characters as like a part of myself. So again, I'll like, my favorite character of all time is a paladin, right? Because I feel like genuinely I am a lawful good character, which is like I abide by the laws and I'm a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Even when
generally speaking,
yeah,
right?
generally speaking. And then, like, when I play video games, I'm always choosing the good. And I like being a good person and being able to heal people and help them, but also being a badass with a sword, right? So that's great. But you get some people who play and they like try to go to the opposite of that, where they're like, you look, I'm kind of skinny. I've never been the strong person, and it's kind of nice to play this character that is the strong person, and you can kind of like, you know, kind of feel that for a minute. Or again, some people are like, hey, I just want to be this me in a different world and just enjoy all these like fabulous things.
I feel a little bad. I don't know if you knew. I didn't feel very well towards the end of that, but I don't remember my character's name.
It would be on your character sheet.
So you keep
I
a
watch
character
notes.
sheet?
Yeah.
Because see that awesome.
So
Awesome.
Go back to the last episode, which was Do You Even DM? Was that the last one or the one before?
No, it was the one before because we talked about players the time.
Oh, that's right. So go to the episode Do You Even DM, and you'll understand what it takes to be a DM.
Yeah.
Dungeon Master, right?
Yeah.
And you'll know that if you're a good one, yeah, you're keeping all those stats and names and notes. Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of fun to do that stuff. Like I said, it's fun. It is fun to play a character because you get to do these awesome moments, right? One of the ones I always talk about is when my character, I am fighting with two other people. I'm fighting one guy, but with two of my buddies, right? And one rolls a natural 20, and when you roll a 20 on the dice, we actually have cards. I think that's the best way to do it.
Okay,
Sometimes
I just real quick, don't get lost on your thought there. Boop, put a pin in it, as you would say.
Yeah. Oh, orange, because Deathstroke.
A natural 20. Can you roll an unnatural 20?
Yes. Well, so you have modifiers, right? So if you like pay attention to the game, you have modifiers.
Okay.
So if you roll the dice and you have a +8 to attack and you roll a 12, that would be a 20. So you'd say, oh, I got 20. If you say natural 20, that implies that you rolled a 20 on the dice, and that is a confirmation automatic hit.
So that's a 20-sided die that you rolled and you hit a 20. Same with the a natural 1 could be any die, right?
No. Natural 1 really pertains to the D20. Yes, you can technically roll a 1 on any of them, but a natural 1 on a D20 means it's auto fail. So usually you can.
So a character can have like if it's a fight or something like that. My character can like automatically have been built up to like an 8 level or something like on a fight. So if I rolled a 1, would that be a 9? Is that how that works?
No. So yeah. So like let's say your character has a +8 to hit.
Okay.
Right. If he rolls a natural 1, usually that's a auto fail, which means you don't hit no matter what. Even if it was like a zombie and their hit AC, their armor class is a 9, you would have hit them. Because you rolled a natural 1, you auto fail. Same with, let's say you get a +8, but the person's armor class, like a dragon's, is higher. It's 30. Well, if you roll a natural 20, even though your +8 wouldn't have gotten you to that, you auto hit because it's like luck, right? It's just like in real life. If me and you were fighting, and you happened to throw a random punch, and it hit me and knocked me out, that would be a natural 20 because you.
Even though it was dumb luck.
Yeah, dumb luck. Exactly.
Okay.
So that's kind of what it has to do with. So we're rolling, and my buddy rolls one of the other players rolls a natural 20, and we have these cards, and depending on what it is, it can cut off stuff. Well, he happens to cut off a limb, and so he's like, there's 4 limbs. I wonder which one I'm gonna to cut off, and he cuts off the leg I'm holding, and so now I have a leg in my hand.
Yeah, you're no longer controlling anything.
Exactly. Well, see, and so as a monk, you can use weapons, any weapon as like as a weapon, right?
Anything
is a weapon. So like Jackie Chan in a lot of his kung fu movies uses like a bench. I swear that man. Yeah, that man can fight with a bench.
Steering wheel was my favorite. Yep.
Yeah, he can he fights with a bench in a lot of his movies. He could fight better with a bench than I could with a gun.
Yeah,
like he's.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
so
I've seen you shoot, so that's accurate.
So I grabbed the leg, and the guy was low health, so I bashed in his head with his own leg.
Yes.
And it was this like awesome moment where I'm like, yes. And so you get a lot of those where like the natural 20 can affect the game quite a bit.
And everyone around you knows your character, has been playing this for a while, so everyone can enjoy that moment that you just beat a dude with his own leg.
Exactly.
And there's like high fives around the table.
Another one that was a good. So you have to some spells you have to have a save for, right? Which means you have to roll to make sure that the spell doesn't affect you. So we're doing it against the final boss, and he's kind of at lower health. And one of our players, Nikki, she rolls. She does a spell. The main bad guy rolls a save and fails it, and makes him like it's like stupid, like he can't function as a human, right? And all of us got so excited. And again, you don't realize it when you're playing because you're just so excited. Everybody's excited, like, kill him! So we turn him into stone, and we end up like making him a statue in the room of our, like the hall, right? In our hall, we have the main bad guy still cast in stone. It's epic. Anyway, but when you go to bed, like so at the time, we went out for our final sessions. Right, so our last 3 final sessions, we went to a random home in the country and played and drank and had this really fun time, like away from everything. And when we did that, so I go to sleep right after. I've been drinking, you know what I mean? So I go to bed, and afterwards I'm like, it's so funny that this was something that like it sent shivers up my spine. Yet all it is a story.
It's a board game.
It's a board game.
Yeah, but like if you've ever played, anyone that's listening, if you've ever played a video game of any kind for a substantial amount of time, you dream about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I imagine that
Call of
you.
Duty.
Yeah, I've been there. The AUG. But I imagine you dreamt about it even.
Yeah, I every once in a while will dream about either playing D&D or as my character, like what would I do type of thing.
Okay. That's how I knew it. It affected me more than I thought, because the next day and the day after that, I was thinking about what had happened at some of those decision points. And
yeah.
So, not to redirect this, but this started out as cosplay and anime. No, wait, I think it was cosplay.
It was
anime?
cosplay and anime.
Yeah,
so
yeah. So let's get back to.
So
let's
okay,
go
we
there.
can get back onto that. That's actually another thing that I think I get not a lot of ideas, but I do get quite a few of ideas from animes. There's a new anime called Jujutsu Kaisen. This guy has a demon inside him because anyway, it doesn't matter. So he has this demon inside him. Well, one of the classes in D&D is called it's called a warlock. So they can use a little bit of spells, and they can use swords and stuff like that. They're a pretty balanced character. But the great thing about it, so they make a pact with a demon and or some type of deity, which is what gives them abilities, right? So it's kind of cool because you can take that, hey, there's a demon living inside them, and you could make their demon a part of the story. So now they didn't really think about what their demon was and stuff like that, but you talk to their character like, hey, do you mind? I have a really good idea for the demon that you made a pact with. Can we do that?
No.
Yeah. Well, that's usually my see, that's a great demon voice. And that's usually, I'm going to be honest, that's roughly what my demon sounds like. But that's not the point, guys.
No, that's solid.
But yeah, you can do that, and all of a sudden you add that voice to that character, and you show them like their demon is kind of like
And the
kinda
person
crazy.
that asks kind of like, damn, no, he's not cool with this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So it all depends on how you do it. But if you have that like cool, so again in Jujutsu Kaisen, he doesn't sound like that. He's just a really powerful demon. He actually sounds like a normal guy, but he has these like abilities, and he's constantly manipulating the person that he's inside of. Giggity. And so for it's kind of cool because you get that type of thing. So when you have a warlock, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'll play something off of that, but I'll use a different type of demon that is manipulating him, and maybe you're like, hey, well, you're sleeping, because a lot of times obviously you have where you're like, okay, we go to bed, and you could be like, oh, hey, in your dream you wake up and the demon is sitting there on a pile of corpses and he's talking to you, and you can have this like huge dialogue thing. And so those are lots of fun. A lot of I like one-off sessions that are based on anime. So I'll do one-off of like My Hero Academia, which is really everybody has a superpower and they have to go to school to get licenses so that they can use their powers outside of to be a superhero, right, to get paid. So I made a D&D session off of that, and it was a blast. All I did was like manipulate certain type of classes, and then I just gave them their spells that they could use to like keep them in character. And I had everybody, they had to pick it out of a hat what their power was, because obviously if you're a child, you don't get a choice who your parents are.
No,
and choosing them. And some of them got like some of the most powerful, and some of them were like, garbage ones, and they're like, please.
Real life, bitch.
Yeah, real life, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can't stop, won't stop. So yeah, it's a lot of but it is a lot of fun. And I think that if you take those, again, I really do get into anime like probably too much, but you could take little things.
What?
I know, really, that was kind of crazy. But I take like parts of the story and like make them my own, and make them a lot of fun for everybody. And it's kind of fun because as a player, don't do this. We'll get into that in a sec, but I will do like teasers and stuff, right? Whether it's like a Star Wars reference or an Elder Scrolls Oblivion reference, anything like that. If you notice the reference, don't point it out, right? A lot of guys will do that. To be like, Star Wars, New Hope, this time. And you're like, dude, shut the fuck up. Everybody, not everybody was going to get that. Now everybody knows it. And it was kind of like this cool little play, right? But you just ruined it for everybody. And you get some of those players. If you get a reference, like, so a lot of times, like, if I make a reference to, Naruto, you could always just give me something that I know, but something that not everybody that knows Naruto would know, right?
Right.
You're like, oh, Rasengan. And nope, you don't know what that means, right? But if I was a Naruto fan, I'd be like, you give them kind of that little wink. You're like, ding.
Give him the nod.
Yeah,
wink,
you give him the little nod, like, oh, hey, cool, you got it. So again, one of them I do is the Jester, and he's heavily based on the Joker, right? So I do a voice.
Jester and the
I was
Joker.
gonna say
What?
you couldn't have.
You know what? No, well, no. You're surprised. You'd be surprised how many people don't get that reference, because it's a Jester. And again, I also, there's a guy in Elder Scrolls Skyrim that I usually take a little bit from a couple of things and make my own thing, right? He's not just the Joker. A lot of the times he uses I try to use his voice from Mark Hamill's. Like, I try to do something similar to that, but
because he is just for anybody wondering, because you're ripping over things real fast here. So Mark Hamill,
like Ben Shapiro, I just keep going. I talk so fast. I'm sorry.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Mark Hamill is also
Luke Skywalker.
Okay, who then plays the Joker in not regular
Movies,
movies,
like real life,
right?
IRL.
It's right. It is like the cartoon version,
Batman animated series.
There you go. So I just want to give you guys that reference so you understand what he's talking about when you're ripping over references so fast.
If you don't know Mark Hamill's Batman animated series,
no, most people listening to this wouldn't know that. So you're welcome for helping you.
No, thank you, but seriously, go watch it because you guys
it
haven't.
It is really
lived
good.
Yet. It is great.
Mark Hamill does a fantastic
job.
Who's Mark Hamill?
Grab my sword. Where did I put that?
It's right behind
here.
you. I'm kidding. I know who Mark Hamill is.
So I'll do that. And again, last time I did it,
I would say that a lot of people that are like big into cosplay right now They know who Mark Hamill is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Mark Hamill is. If anybody that's listening that's not into cosplay and have been living under a rock for the last, 40 years and doesn't know who Mark Hamill is, go watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
And the first ones, 4, 5, and 6.
The originals. Yeah. No, 5 and 6, I don't even think he wanted to be in those. Like, God damn it. No. So I think that so again, I'll take stuff from that. And the last time 3 people did not understand what I was talking. They had no clue. They were just like, this character is creepy as hell. And so I make
doesn't matter. It's what you go. That's
exactly.
That's what you're after.
Yeah, and don't wrong, I do make him way creepier than the Joker from Batman anime series, but that was a cartoon, right?
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
He's not being all weird. So I do that, and he's like, Mark Hamill's the Joker, and I'm like, bro, shut up, because now everybody thinks of him as the Joker, and no longer is it a thing, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that's kind of annoying.
That's just a dick move as a
exactly.
player. Yeah.
So don't do that. But take inspirations from certain things and like make it your own thing. Like I said, usually I take like a little bit of like a kind of like an outline. You know what I mean? Like I made a Final Fantasy VII.
I love Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
VII.
So I made my last one. It was a crusade, right? And Crusade War, and it was like this big thing. And the main bad guy was outline of Sephiroth, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looked very similar to Sephiroth. Used a big sword. Nobody had played the game, and so except other than one person, and he was the one I was kind of working with a lot of this to like help me like jump in and help me with certain things. Once the re-release came out, a lot of them were like, "Hey, isn't that Sephiroth?" And I'm like, "Shut up!" Like his name was Azrael. Like other than using the same type of sword, he was very different. And I'm like, and now all they thought of was Sephiroth. They didn't let it be its own character.
He looked like him.
Exactly.
Which, by the way,
I don't know any of these people they're talking about.
So if you ever get an opportunity to play Final Fantasy, play 7 because it is the best one.
It
Hands
legitimately
down.
is the best game.
So fantastic. It's great. I have chased that feeling of that game for what year are we in? 2021?
Yeah.
At least 20 years now.
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
Came out in 1997.
Yeah, it is such a good
Special year.
game. Yeah, PlayStation 1 is where that bad boy hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So I'll take
We're talking about cosplay and stuff.
Well, and that's another perfect thing. So I dressed up as him, right? We talked about this in the DM thing where I will wear certain things. So when and I actually got this idea from somebody else, but so they had a character that they would wear a metal finger, like one of those metal things with the little point on it. Mm-hmm. It was like the character's like
so they could do cocaine.
Yeah, exactly. So they would do that as like their special thing. So I would wear this leather coat every time we played that had giant. It did look a little Sephiroth-y. I'll give him that, but that's not the point. So I would wear that to like get in character. And that's actually what he got it off of, is because he had the large sword, and I would wear this thing. Because I like to wear things only for the main villain. I'm not sitting there every time like, 1 second, let me hurry and run in. All right, not this guy. I only have a couple characters that I do it with, but it helps me stay in character.
But you do switch your voice.
Yeah.
Like if there's other characters and you switch it up.
And that's the reason why I think cosplay is so fun, because again, you're also playing another person. Again, this outfit, I actually think it's actually a pretty good Deathstroke, if I'm being honest. But when you go to those things, a lot of people want to take pictures with you. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And you get to be, again, you kind of get to play like a different character. You get to act.
That's
and stuff like
exactly why your stay-at-home moms dress up like slutty Catwomans and go to cosplay.
Get attention.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, I finally get somebody to look at me and want to. Anyway.
No, keep on doing what you're doing.
Oh, no, I'm not hating on it
Yeah,
whatsoever.
No, bless them.
Yeah, go on to Instagram and just type cosplay.
Becca Jacoba. She doesn't like sponsor the show or anything, but
if you want to.
But if you want to, seriously, your OnlyFans has to make a good amount. So, if she can do it, I think we can start an OnlyFans. So, just me and my Deathstroke totally naked. If you want to see that, please like and subscribe. Please comment that's what you want.
Dear.
Did you get my comments on that first video, by the way?
I didn't actually. I'll look at them.
I'm the only subscriber.
No, you're not. No, I have.
To the video
I
that you're
have
just referring to, your fan only.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, oh yeah, I did. No. I sent
Okay.
you the video.
Right.
I sent you the
That's
personal
why
video.
I was gonna be
Yeah.
upset that you didn't read
No,
your
okay,
only
sorry. I thought you were
subscribers.
talking
Okay.
YouTube.
No.
No, I send personal videos, and stuff like that. So again, it's usually the only really cosplay that I've done cosplay a couple times. If I'm being honest.
Every year
You're
at
not
least.
surprising anybody
Yeah,
here. We know.
I don't know.
Every
why,
year,
dude.
probably twice a year in April and October,
Oh.
whenever it comes to
Yeah.
Salt Lake. Well, whatever. Continue.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Deathstroke's my favorite because he's my favorite comic book hero. But I've done a couple. Dante from Dante's Inferno, the video game. There's
Hitman.
Hitman. I did
Yeah,
Hitman.
you
That was a
Hitman,
good
yeah.
one.
That was awesome.
I was actually pretty happy about that because then we a couple people, including
Me?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we had one person was the person who gave me the hit contracts. There was he was the dead body with the chalk
Silhouette,
outline,
yeah.
the
Oh,
yeah,
silhouette.
Mhm.
It was actually a pretty clever one, I thought. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I think
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun
that
to
was
do that
good.
type of stuff. Have you guys ever done? I mean, actually, I know you have. You've done like cosplays with. Or not cosplays. I guess like when you dress up for Halloween. It's just that,
don't-
but you do it.
I don't dress up for Halloween.
That's a lie. I know. What is who
I
is he
don't.
kidding?
I don't.
No.
Oh, hold on. No, I
Yeah.
Here
I
we
did
go.
down by the river last year. Yeah.
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 So
not
rarely.
Not only does the Green Arrow over here, who is also dressed up right now as said,
have a hoodie
character.
on.
Yeah, it's
That's
Green
the Green
Arrow.
Arrow. He also dresses up and then sings. So in future episodes, hopefully we'll have Rye Guy here sing us some tunes. Anyway,
That'd be pretty
Clothed
sweet.
from the waist up.
I know it is weird looking down the barrel of it. So yeah, there's actually a song you should. That would be great for you to say. Toss a coin to your Witcher. Have you guys seen the Witcher series?
I've started. I have not finished it
Oh,
yet,
dude,
though.
great series.
Do
Why,
not
have you seen it?
Don't
No.
ruin it for me, please.
I won't. But I think that's another great one to cosplay because it's not a whole lot of things. Because some people take it like out of bounds. Your son went to cosplay.
Mhm, he did,
and
he
he
actually did a
spent
great job.
quite a bit. He spent quite a bit of money on
No,
it.
he bought a hat,
Oh,
but he already fit the part very well. But yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he did.
So that was a lot of fun for him to do, right? Sorry, I get distracted so
distracted
goddamn
it, yeah.
easy.
That's my fault.
Shit, I fucking hated that.
Everybody needs a producer, and sometimes they ruin things.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think that it would be. I think he was going to. He didn't do it for Halo. I know he was going to. He was looking
he
at
desperately wants to, but he also wants to spend a ridiculous amount of money.
exactly.
And because I refuse to allow him to go looking ridiculous, but in order to look awesome, you're spending a ton of money.
Exactly.
That is
And so
true.
Yeah.
some people spend a lot of money, right? Like honestly, even my outfit is technically quite expensive.
Well, yeah. What I have a girlfriend that no, not my girlfriend, but a girl that is a friend. She dresses. She goes all out for cosplays twice a year, and she makes her own outfits, and they're fantastic.
Have you?
And I can imagine that they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
Even to make them.
They are way expensive, and then
Ridiculous.
not only that, but they make them. People will make them and then sell them for quite a bit
Yeah.
of money. There's actually a guy. If you guys have ever had a chance, I think he's on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. He makes like super like ridiculously cheap. So he'll do like like Super Saiyan one, like Dragon Ball Z. That's what Super Saiyan is. He'll use like bananas and like paper bags to make him look like a Super Saiyan. It's actually awesome. But yeah, so you can go pretty cheap, but again, obviously you might look a little cheap. So some people spend a lot of money. So if you can do some of those cheaper ones that still look good, a lot of people, you know what I mean? It's still fun. You get to be a part of it. When you go in like your regular clothing, it's not as fun. I mean, it's still cool to see other people, but
But you're not giving anything back.
exactly when you feel a lot. You feel a lot cooler. You feel so much better when you're doing it and you're the.
But I get that.
Yeah.
Even the ones that show up with like cheap costumes, it looks cheap and everything else. They're just adding to the overall environment.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Anime, because they actually have the anime ones too. They actually have a lot of them. Like BlizzCon is the one from Blizzard, which is World of Warcraft. Diablo, which you're remaking Diablo 2, which is going to be amazing. So everybody buy that game and we'll all play together. And I'm going to stream it on Twitch and Facebook. But And by Facebook, I meant YouTube, but Facebook too, I guess. Sure. So yeah, I think that if okay, God damn it, I can't. I get distracted. I can't do this. I'm watching anime. So anyway, some of my favorites really quickly. Jujutsu Kaisen won Anime of the Year. Go watch that. Again, I do use a lot of them for inspiration. Even like inspiration for looking at for what your character you want it to look like is a lot of fun. I'm glad you had a lot of fun with D&D. Please tune in tomorrow if we're able to make it happen. I think
I'll be heartbroken if we don't make it happen.
I know, that's what I said.
There are a lot of people will be heartbroken if we don't make it happen.
My children who are going to come and hang out with their friends will be heartbroken.
Yeah,
so we gotta make it happen.
let's so tune in tomorrow because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've also started a TikTok that I'm going to do all this stuff, Overplay Podcast, so check that out and have a lot of fun. And again, tune in next time for some more stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see you later, guys.
Bye.